Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be showing you guys my top 5 favorite personal donk designs for the Livery faction custom. So I'm making this video because the very positive response on my last video where I showed you guys my top favorite slam van designs, and I said if you really enjoyed it, let me know and I'll feature the donk next. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. Now, some of these designs have been sent in by you guys on Twitter, as well as from a few other YouTubers as well, and particularly my good friend Saints Fan, as well as All Silence, and I'll leave both those guys in the description if you want to check them out for yourselves. Now, as always, when I do videos like this, the designs you see are just templates. Feel free to change up anything you want, do a different color, do a different design. This is just the blueprint of some of the awesome designs that you can create today. And let me know some of your other favorite ones in the comment section down below. But with all the way, let's not waste any more time and let's get it started. Alrighty, now these are in no particular order, but I do happen to like the first one we're going to be going over, probably my favorite, and that is the Cherry Popper. So this Livery faction custom donk has a ton of great liveries, and the Cherry Popper one is amazing. In a Vice City Easter egg video I told you guys like the history of the Cherry Popper. This design is so cool. It's got obviously the cherries on the side, the Cherry Popper logo. On the back it says like you'll always remember your first, which of course is a extreme pun on the word Cherry Popper itself. So once you've got that, we're then going to choose our primary and secondary color. Now for our primary color, we're going to be choosing cream. And I figured that for a reason, ice cream. So I figured we would go with the cream as the primary. You'll notice in this video, we're going to be doing a lot of puns to kind of throw these together. So that's what you're going to do for the primary. And for the secondary, you're going to choose a metallic red. The metallic red really blends nicely with the already red from the Cherry Popper livery, and it ties the whole thing together really nicely with the cream primary. So once you've got the color down, you're pretty much free to do whatever you want. Now, luckily for us, there aren't a ton of modifications for the Livery faction donk. You can change the roof, and I think you can add a power bulge hood, and other than adjusting the exhaust, that's pretty much it. So you can choose to do whatever you want. If you want a roof, go for it. If you want no roof or custom roof, you can totally do that too, but it'll just kind of alter the design of the roof ever so slightly. Now for wheels, I actually chose the Benny's original for I believe every car design in here, and the one I went for this was lick lick. So what do you do on an ice cream cone? You lick it. So again, lots of puns in this. That's the only reason I chose the lick lick wheels, is because you lick an ice cream cone. And once you've done that, all I did was simply make the color red, as well as creating a thin white wall line around the outside, which I thought worked really well with the white Cherry Popper logo itself. And the red, of course, ties together the red in the cherries, as well as the other parts of the livery. Now, once I did that, pretty much the only other thing I modified was the inside. I made the interior a cream color, and I made all the accent colors like the lighting and all the dials red, so that they would blend nicely with the exterior of the car. And you can kind of see, this is our final product right here. Overall, I really do love the Cherry Popper livery. It is so cool, and the fact that it kind of is a nice Vice City Easter egg makes it that much better. So this one's pretty clean. It's pretty simple. You got the cream and the red that blends very nicely with the interior and the wheels. This is the Cherry Popper. Again, one of the favorite liveries on this, and probably my overall favorite design for this faction donk. Alright, I said I wasn't going in any particular order, but I think this one is my second favorite, and for this design, we're actually going to be using the Mouthful of Sprunk livery. Again, I love the Sprunk design. In fact, in real life, I even tried to get like a custom pair of Sprunk headsets commissioned, and we were like so close to getting them done. It was really cool. But nevertheless, the Sprunk livery is amazing, and I really do love it. So we're going to be applying that, and then what we're going to be doing is applying our primary and secondary color. So for both the primary and the secondary color, you're going to be choosing ice white. Now there are a few other colors that blend really well with the green sprunk, kind of like a bright orange or yellow would also work, but I just felt like the white blended very nicely with the sprunk logo. And there was also a lot of white on the car itself, so I wanted to go with that. So once you've got your primary and secondary colors selected, you then want to go to pearlescent and then choose either gold, orange, or bright orange. Now what this orange, gold, bright yellow, pearlescent is going to do is give a very nice shine on the green itself, and it's also going to blend onto the white a little bit as well. So it really does give us that kind of lime green, dark green effect that I think offers a really nice balance on the top end of the car and where the livery shines the best. So after we got our livery and our paint job down, I went down to wheels, selected Benny's original, and chose the half cut. And you guys might think the half cut looks kind of weird, but I actually kind of like it. And what's really cool is you can totally change that like baseball diamond shape piece at the bottom, and you can make it green, which really does obviously accent the livery very nicely. And after I changed the color, I simply applied a thin white wall line on the tire itself and then immediately moved on to the interior. And very simply, for all these cars on the interior, I'm just going to try to match some element of the outside. So for this one, you could have either chosen a white interior, or you could have gone like myself and gone with a more green pattern. So that's exactly what I did. The steering wheel was white, all the dials and gauges were white, but the interior and the seats were green to match the awesome exterior of the car and that amazing livery. So it's really cool. We've obviously got some bold wheels on here, but the sprunk is just absolutely amazing. I really love the livery, and it's even got a really cool saying on the back. It's like, put some sprunk in your trunk. So I thought that that was really awesome, of course. And you can obviously do whatever you want in terms of adding different ICE system, different plaque in the back. I just wanted to give you guys, like I said, the template so that you can make these awesome designs. But this is the sprunk donk. I really do love it. Let's move on to our next one. Okay, up next, we're going to be using a livery that I think is overlooked, very much underrated, and one I don't see a lot, and that is actually Bishop's Chicken. So the Bishop's Chicken one is pretty cool. It gives me this like 1990s retro feel. I don't know if it gives you guys the same kind of aurora, but I really do like it for whatever reason. And there's like three primary colors here. There's obviously the yellow, there's the red, and there's the blue. And that's kind of what we're going to be going for today. So in your primary color, you can either select yellow, which I thought looked okay, but I also thought bright orange looked really good. So it didn't totally like outdo the yellow in the Bishop's logo, which is something I was going for. So that's why I chose the bright orange over yellow. But of course, you could choose either one. And for the secondary, we're actually going to be matching the Bishop's logo on the hood as well as on the side of the car. So we're going to be making that red. So that covers the orange and that covers the red. And then moving on to the interior, this is where we're actually going to get the blue. So you can choose any blue you want. I think this one worked best with like a nautical blue, but either a surf blue or like a light blue would work perfectly fine for this also. And that really does tie together our three colors nicely. We got the yellowish orange, we got the red, and we've also got the blue. So once you got your paint job and livery set, you obviously want to update the wheels. I was using Benny's original big bar. That big bar kind of works well with the stripe that goes down the center of the car itself. So that's one of the reasons why I thought that looked so nice. And what's great about this wheel is you can also change the color. And the wheel, like the rim itself won't change, but kind of like the inside will. So it's that really nice contrast while still keeping that chrome alloy look, which I think looks really, really nice. So after that, I also applied the red lines on the car, which really just did a nice kind of number to the vehicle. As you can see on the livery, there's that like thin red stripe right above the blue. So we kind of match that right there. And overall, that's pretty much it. And for all these vehicles, like I said, you can add neon lights, which I'm kind of doing just to match the colors. You can choose not to. This is all up to you. But this is our final product here. This just reminds me of something straight out of the 1990s. I think it looks insane. I think it looks totally wacky. And I love the little chicken on the side too. I think that really ties everything together. But anyways, this is the Bishop's Chicken donk. I think this one is totally outrageous, but still totally awesome. But anyways, let's move on to our fourth donk. Okay, moving on. And for our fourth donk, we're going to be using another livery that isn't as widely used as I kind of would have imagined. And it's the Candy Box Captain's Log. Now, on the livery originally, it's basically like a half-toned one. So it gives us this nice aqua green in wave form on the bottom, as well as the Captain's Log logo and a few kind of slogans written across the car itself, like thick man-sized chocolate. It's pretty interesting. So once we've got that, we're going to apply our primary and secondary color. And our primary and secondary for both is going to be a salmon pink. And I really think this works well. It really does remind me of like 1980s Florida, like pinks and aqua greens. So that's kind of the reason why I went with that. And I think that the color scheme works really, really well with this livery. And it also lets the like logos on the car stand out as well. You can see like wrap your lips around a captain. All those slogans stand out really nicely. Now for the interior, this one's kind of tricky because I didn't want to make it pink and kind of overdo it. I didn't want to make it that aqua green and overdo it. But what I tried to do is get like the grayish brown of the Captain's Log and the anchor, as well as like their slogan, thick man-sized chocolate. So it was like in between a bleach brown, a sandy brown, and a straw brown. So you can choose either one of those for the interior and you'll get a pretty good design. So for the wheels, I was actually having trouble deciding on what to do. And then I noticed that the livery was Captain's Log, and there was actually a Benny's original called Viking. So I know Vikings aren't exactly ship captains, but I know that they still have boats, ships. So that's really the only reason why I went with Viking, because of the pun there. But it actually turned out pretty nicely because the color we applied, we put the salmon pink, and it did actually look really cool. That nice blend between the chrome and alloy as well as the salmon pink really did look nice. And other than that, I just applied the retro or classic white wall. I think the retro white wall looks good here, just because of how outrageous the car already looks. But other than that, you can just choose to, like I said, apply a neon color underneath. You can choose to upgrade a few more things like the dials, the the ICE system, a placard in the back if you really want to. But overall, this design is really cool. It is probably by far the most outrageous one we're doing today, just because the color scheme, the aqua green, obviously the salmon pink, really reminds me of like the 1980s and, Miami and Florida. And just the stains on the car themselves are pretty outrageous, like the creamy Siemens favorite. So again, check this one out if you really want an outrageous donk design. This is the Captain's Log Faction Custom. Let's move on to our final donk. All right, and the final donk we're going to be doing today is actually a Meteorite design. So you guessed it, we are going to be using the Meteorite livery, which I think is a pretty interesting one. Obviously, you can see that Meteorite logo on the side. You've obviously got the Meteorite itself, and then the like ooey gooey chocolate pieces, whatever the things are on the side of the car. They're like scattered everywhere. So once you've got your livery, we're going to need to select our primary and secondary color. And for the primary color, I ended up choosing Bison Brown. However, any of the browns will work. This is again where you can use my template, and instead of just copying and pasting, you can play the game and, design whatever brown you think works best. So I went with a Bison Brown, but again, you can choose whatever you want. And for the secondary color, I ended up going with Bright Orange. You could either choose bright orange or yellow, and my goal here was to match the Meteorite logo. So the Meteorite logo is like yellow on the inside, but it's orange on the outside. So that's why I went with bright orange, kind of like a hybrid, a mix, of both worlds right there. And on the inside, I just chose another brown also. This one I chose to do a little bit of a lighter brown so that you could kind of match the pieces on the outside. Again, you can choose whatever you want here. And then from there, we just had to decide on what wheels we wanted. And as I saw in All Silence video, he actually used the clean wheels on this design, and I thought it looked really cool. So you're going to use the Benny's original clean wheels, and then what I did was actually match the color of the secondary that I used and the Meteorite logo. So I went with a bright orange on the wheels, and finally I tied it all together with the white wall lining on the outside of the tires. So overall, I thought this one was really awesome. Once again, you can choose to add whatever you want. I added the neon underglow underneath. I think I went with golden shower for whatever reason, just decided to go with that one. But overall, this donk is really cool. We really kept this one simple as far as the wheels and the color scheme. It just matched up really, really nicely. And you don't see a lot of this Meteorite one as well. And that's why I really like this video today, is because, we had two really popular ones in the Cherry Popper and the Sprunk, but then we had some really different ones that I think you will, if you decide to make it, you'll get a really unique look, and you won't see many of them out on the street. But anyways, those are my personal top 5 best Williard Faction custom donk designs for you in Grand Theft Auto Online. Let me know which one your favorite was in the comment section down below, and if I missed any cool designs, be sure to let me know there. If you did go on to enjoy the video, a like rating would of course be awesome, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.